It's first thing in the morning on a Sunday. I have skipped breakfast and come to the shed because of Howard Williams. Howard was talking about ancestry stuff, and there we go. You see, when we talk about ancestry, we tend to use terms like line, bloodline, family tree, this kind of thing, singular. And this is a great way of tracking where your name comes from, what your inheritance might be, who owns what at a particular time, and who's going to own it next. For example, tracking social obligations as well. It's been useful, and it is useful for all those reasons. It's why you have all those begats in the Bible, but it doesn't tell you much about you as a member of humanity. Right, okay, so here we have a very simple exercise. We start with the generation, title of that generation, the number of people in that generation, the date of birth estimated of that generation, and the world population estimated when that generation was born. So at the top of the chart, parents to 1990-ish, obviously results will vary, and 7 billion-ish at the end of the 20th century. So that's a large number of people on the planet and a very small number of connections to you in terms of your parents. But this can tell us something very quickly, can infer something with some simple mathematics as we go back. With each generation, the number doubles. So 4 grandparents, 8 great-great-grandparents, 8 great-grandparents, 16 great-great-grandparents, 32 great-great-great-grandparents, and so on and so forth. And by the time you get back to 1810, 1 billion people on the planet estimated. You have 128 connections, which, again, is relatively small compared to that number. And this is connections within your family tree going backwards through time, up and spreading out. We can continue down this list, and the person who was doing this sheet before they had to leave it got to 1,048,576 connections in 1420, at a time when, well, the world population was somewhere close to 500 million people. Now that's a significant percentage of that 500 million. That's 1 million out of only 500. That's a lot, and this quickly gathers pace as we go even further back. Now, interestingly, there are 2 people who I know are related to William the Conqueror. One of them is a chap called Alexander Armstrong, essentially a minor aristocrat, and not unexpected. The other is a chap called Danny Dyer, and that was unexpected. But this is where things get interesting. You see, around 1060, 1066-ish, approximately 32, 33 generations, and both Armstrong and Dyer took about 33 generations to get to William the Conqueror. You actually have 4,294,967,296 connections in your family tree, going back and spreading out all the way through time, at a time when the world's population was somewhere between 207 million and 450 million. 4 trillion connections, less than 450 million people on the planet. And what this means is that people are doubling, tripling, quadrupling, quintuplicating up in terms of roles in your family tree. And this family tree, as it goes back through time and spreads out and gets wider and broader, is not so much a tree as a web. You see, each one of those points, each one of those branches, those moments where people are born and have children, actually spreads out and downwards through time. So it comes forward in time and spreads out, as well as going back through time and spreading out. And very quickly, you don't have a simple triangular diagram with you at the bottom as the latest version of your line. but rather you are one of a huge, vast web of frilly, fringy branches flittering in the wind, and all from a connected super structure, which is humanity. It is our interconnected and interrelated nature that makes us who we are. I mean, it would be horrifying if we were related to just one person. But this is what I find most encouraging about this exercise. And it is a simplified exercise, but it makes the point that we are all connected to each other. I find that heartening. I find that encouraging. I love the fact that in my ancestry there may well be some legendary and identifiable people, but not only will I never know that because of history and lack of records and so on and so forth, but also I already know that because I'm already related to everyone else. You know, we're better together, people, and I love that. I really do. Anyway, I'm now slightly more awake, and it's time for breakfast.